Welcome to yet another one of my YouTube videos. Before we dive in, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our channel. In the first episode of Lovely Runner, we are transported back to July 22nd, 2009. The atmosphere is buzzing with excitement as people eagerly anticipate an eclipse. However, Imsol, lying in a hospital bed, seems unaffected by the anticipation. Meanwhile, her mother, Park Bok-soon, tries to lift her spirits by trimming her nails and playing the radio. Despite her mother's efforts, Imsol appears lost in her own thoughts, oblivious to her surroundings. Unintentionally, her mother accidentally brushes against one of her toes while cutting her nails. Concerned, Bok-soon leaves momentarily to find something to stop the bleeding. Unfortunately, in her absence, she accidentally drops a glass vase. Seizing the opportunity, Imsol quietly retrieves a shard of the broken vase, hinting at her intention to harm herself. In another location, we come across a group of young men from the Eclipse Band as they make their way to a radio show. They are filled with excitement, especially In-hyuk, who happens to spot one of his celebrity crushes and manages to get an autograph. The band made their debut just 2 months ago and is actively promoting themselves by reaching out to fans through the radio station and conducting popularity tests. The first call goes smoothly, but things take a different turn when it's Sung Jae's turn to make a call. He dials Imsol's phone number, but she hesitates to answer. However, another person in the vicinity complains about the noise coming from the phone and urges her to pick it up. Imsol reluctantly picks up the phone, and Sung Jae, one of the band members, inquires if she's acquainted with their music. She confesses that she isn't and is on the verge of hanging up, but the radio host steps in, encouraging her to stay connected. Suddenly he reveals that she has won a pair of running shoes, yet Imsol brushes off the prize, stating that she doesn't require them. Undeterred, the presenter attempts to entice her with an indoor exercise bicycle, but Imsol remains uninterested. Feeling frustrated, she vents her emotions, expressing her strong longing to be able to walk again. She accuses them of making fun of her, stating that she doesn't care about life right now, and abruptly hangs up the phone. The host immediately offers an apology, while Sung Jae provides words of encouragement to Imsol. He expresses gratitude for her resilience and urges her to continue the fight for those who care about her. Imsol is moved by his supportive words and tears up. Just then, her mother enters the room and consoles her. In December 2022, the scene changes, and Imsol is now much happier. She has become a dedicated fan of Eclipse, with Ryu Sung-jae as her ultimate bias. Her room is filled with pictures of him, and her collection of merchandise is impressive. Imsol even has a watch from Sung-jae, but her grandmother took it from the vault and is now wearing it. Determined to get it back, Imsol enlists the help of her mom and brother to persuade her grandmother. After a little bribery, she finally manages to retrieve her precious watch. Imsol is filled with anticipation for the upcoming Eclipse concert happening later today. She excitedly informs her mom that this concert marks the band's return after a 5-year hiatus. During this period, Eclipse faced some challenges. Sung Jae, one of the band members, is feeling exhausted and desires to retire despite his manager's objections. As she prepares to go to the concert and efficiently completes a last-minute favor for one of her clients. The client happens to be a shaman who requires her expertise in video editing. Once she finishes the urgent task, Imsol eagerly gets ready for the concert and is then picked up by her friend Lee Hyun-ju. During their journey, Hyun-ju surprises Imsol with an old-school yearbook from one of her friends. It turns out that this friend attended the same high school as Sung Jae, and Imsol can't help but express her admiration for how handsome Sung Jae looked even back then. She finds it amusing that she never noticed him before, considering their schools were so close to each other. Hyun-ju playfully teases Imsol about another crush she had who unfortunately left school after her accident. During the concert, Imsol bumps into another friend right after Hyunju leaves her. The two buddies are thrilled about the concert and decide to capture the moment by taking some photos. Their joy is slightly dampened by negative comments from solo stans who are upset that Sungjae is receiving more attention. Nevertheless, Imsol refuses to let their negativity spoil the moment. Just then, she receives a phone call from the job interview she had applied for a few weeks ago. The interviewer requests her to come to the office immediately. Sol realizes that she still has 2 hours before the concert begins and agrees to go for the interview. Unfortunately, the job interview didn't go well. They declined to hire her because the office isn't wheelchair accessible. Nevertheless, Sol maintains a positive attitude and decides to head back to the concert. However, she encounters heavy traffic, misplaces her ticket, and arrives late. Additionally, she fails to persuade one of the staff members to let her in. Despite these setbacks, she chooses to stay outside and enjoy the performance as a devoted fan. She feels particularly touched when Sungjae surprises everyone by performing the first song from Eclipse's set list. This song holds a special place in her heart as it was the one that made her a fan. It's a comforting melody that beautifully captures the feeling of unexpectedly meeting someone special, just like a refreshing summer rain shower. After the concert, one of the band members confronts Sungjae for wanting to quit. In-hyuk feels hurt that Sungjae didn't share his retirement plans with him. Sungjae requests some time alone and assures them that they will have a conversation later. It's evident that he's going through a tough time. Once he calms down, Sungjae leaves and coincidentally comes across Sol, who is experiencing a string of bad luck. Her phone accidentally fell and broke, preventing her from contacting Hyunju. Determined to make her way home, she pushes forward despite the snowfall. On the verge of giving up and shedding tears, Sungjae unexpectedly notices her and approaches her. As anticipated, she is momentarily speechless, too shocked to say anything. She stutters as she reveals herself as a devoted fan, and tears start streaming down her face. Sungjae kindly shields her from the snow with his umbrella and offers her his hand warmer for her freezing hands. Overwhelmed with emotions, she expresses her gratitude to him for the immense impact his music has had on her life. Just as Sungjae is about to accompany her home, Hyunju unexpectedly appears. He kindly lends his umbrella to her, and she presents him with a heartfelt gift made by a fan. Once she arrives home, an excited Sol eagerly asks her mother about the person who rescued her from the accident. Sol feels a strong desire to express her gratitude, but her mother confesses that she has no knowledge of who it could be. However, her mother's behavior seems peculiar. What could be the hidden truth behind Sol's accident? Sol later looks through the concert photos and admires Sungjae's collarbone. Meanwhile, Sungjae is in his hotel room. Pills are scattered everywhere, and shortly after, he leaps from his balcony into the pool below. Soon after, reports of his supposed suicide spread online, leaving Sol devastated as she watches videos of paramedics trying to save Sungjae. She quickly exits the building, clutching the Sungjae watch she purchased online. As she hurries along, a bicycle narrowly misses her, causing her to accidentally drop the watch into the river. Determined to retrieve it, she makes her way to the riverbank. Meanwhile, Sungjae is being rushed to the hospital and tragically pronounced dead on January 1st, 2023. A peculiar event occurs with the watch the instant he is declared deceased. A sudden flash of light occurs, and the watch mysteriously rewinds time. The light aids Sol in locating the watch once again. As she grabs it, she looks up and notices the news confirming Sungjae's passing. The report states that he took his own life after struggling with depression for a long time. Sol is devastated and struggles to accept the fact that Sungjae is no longer with her. She questions why he had to leave this world and cries by the river. All of a sudden, time stands still, and she opens her eyes to find herself in the year 2008. She has been transported back to her high school days. Without hesitation, she runs out of class and makes her way to the nearby school to search for Sungjae. As she stumbles upon him, she discovers him diligently preparing for the Beijing Olympics Games. Despite being a skilled swimmer, he conceals an arm injury. Overwhelmed with emotion, she wraps her arms around him and sheds tears, unaware of the immense pain he had been enduring. Sungjae is taken aback, as he has never crossed paths with her before. In a surprising turn of events, she bravely declares her love for him, only to be swiftly escorted out by security. Throughout all this time, she believes she's trapped in a dream, so it comes as a shock when she experiences pain in her foot after being pushed by the security guards. This unexpected sensation makes her question if she has actually passed away. Sungjae discovers her lying on the bridge's sidewalk and is taken aback when she claims he's a ghost. Suddenly, she recalls the shaman's mention of the bridge connecting the world of the living with the underworld. Fearing that Sungjae will make the transition, she desperately tries to prevent him from crossing the bridge and returning home. Despite her efforts, when she returns his watch, he adamantly denies it being his own. Doubting her sanity, he becomes startled when she unexpectedly grabs him from behind and proposes they live together. In a hurry, he promptly calls for a taxi and departs. Shortly after, Boksoon, filled with concern, contacts Imsol and urgently instructs her to come back home. Boksoon is upset that Imsol decided to skip class. As soon as Imsol arrives home, she discovers that they are residing in their previous house, untouched by the recent developments. Imsol feels a surge of joy realizing that her grandmother is still in good health and remembers her name. Despite her mother's anger, Imsol finds solace in being in this time period. However, as she reflects in her room, she begins to break down, fearing that she may have to relive the pain of her accident once again. Exhausted, she eventually drifts off to sleep, holding on to the hope that she will soon awaken from this dream. Meanwhile, Sungjae receives a phone call from his father. His dad is thrilled about Sungjae's swimming abilities. Following the conversation, Sungjae stumbles upon his watch and ponders over why Imsol gifted it to him. Although he worries about her mental state, he can't help but be captivated by her actions. The following day, she wakes up and finds herself still in 2008. Eagerly, she prepares for school with a strong resolve to alter Sungjae's destiny. On her way to school, she catches sight of him and recalls his tragic death. Overcome with emotion, tears stream down her face, oblivious to the rain falling around her. Sungjae notices her weeping in the rain and decides to leave his friend to come to her aid. He walks up to her and offers his umbrella. The scene concludes with them gazing into each other's eyes as he inquires about the reason behind her tears. In the second episode of Lovely Runner, the story continues from where we left off. Imsol finds herself crying in the rain, but her sadness is soon interrupted by Sungjae, who kindly offers her his umbrella. Concerned, he asks her why she's crying, triggering a memory of a similar question he had asked in their future encounter. As Imsol recalls more details, her tears flow even more, catching the attention of those around them. Speculations arise among the students, wondering if it's a lover's quarrel. To avoid further speculation, Sungjae decides to take Imsol somewhere else. The rain persists, forcing them to seek shelter under a nearby building. Imsol can't help but feel a bit embarrassed as she keeps stealing glances at Sungjae. Meanwhile, he can't help but wonder what might be bothering her. Imsol finally reveals that she's a huge fan of his swimming skills, and he reminds her of her beloved old dog. It turns out the dog's name was Otter, and it could swim just as well as Sungjae. Imsol struggles to convince anyone of this story, and Sungjae remains skeptical. He returns the watch to her. The watch triggers memories of the embarrassing things she said the day before. She takes his umbrella and dashes off. When she enters her class, she is filled with excitement as she spots all her classmates, behaving as if she hasn't seen them in ages. Her classmates are curious about her unusual behavior and ask her what's going on. Hyunju is also concerned about Imsol, who left the class in a hurry. Boksoon is currently tidying up her home and chatting with her neighbor, Miss Kwan. She is worried about finding a tenant for the house next door. Miss Kwan recommends that she sell the house and purchase an apartment in Pengyo instead. Boksoon is annoyed with Ryu Gyeon Dim Deok for renting a movie and not returning it. When she calls him, Gyeon Deok denies ever renting the movie. She vents to Miss Kwan about it, and they have a conversation. Their discussion is interrupted by Im Gyum, who is practicing for a monk role as he aspires to be an actor. Imsol finds it difficult to focus at school as her mind is preoccupied with thoughts of time travel. She is convinced that the watch holds the key and presses the button by mistake. Expecting to time jump again, she is surprised when nothing occurs. When the teacher asks her to solve a math problem, she fibs about having a stomach ache. Consequently, the teacher sends her to the infirmary, but instead she makes her way to Sung Jae's school. At the gym, Imsol notices Sung Jae across the room, but her attention is diverted by the strong smell of cigarettes, piquing her curiosity. As she follows the scent, she unexpectedly discovers three boys smoking. Just as she is about to confront them, Tae-sung suddenly appears, effortlessly overpowering the boys. Despite Tae-sung's impressive skills, Imsol can't help but get involved. Unfortunately, their moment is interrupted by the arrival of more bullies. Acting quickly, Tae-sung grabs her arm and urges her to run. Together, they manage to escape the bullies and find a safe hiding spot. Following this, Tae-sung reaches for the cigarettes to smoke, prompting her to intervene. It dawns on her that she once had a crush on him. Tae-sung, a rebellious heartthrob, is also a member of a band, causing girls to swoon over him. He is puzzled by Imsol's odd behavior, especially since they had just met the day before. A teacher catches them arguing, causing Tae-sung to flee, leaving the cigarettes and lighter behind. Despite Imsol's explanation, the teacher remains unconvinced and punishes her by making her kneel in front of the school. Sung-jae spots her, but firmly believes she is a smoker. He advises her to quit the dangerous habit and reveals that the CCTV camera is actually a fake, ensuring that the teacher won't catch her if she decides to leave. As she heads towards the exit, she unexpectedly bumps into Tae-sung once again. He advises her to steer clear of his conflicts in the future. A heated argument ensues until another girl, who appears to be interested in Tae-sung, interrupts them. Tae-sung decides to leave to avoid any further interaction with her, leaving Imsol feeling disheartened. The girl and her friends then attempt to intimidate Imsol, warning her to stay away from Tae-sung. Later, Imsol seeks advice from Hyunju on how to approach someone. Hyunju emphasizes the importance of first impressions, but we all know how that turned out. Eventually, Hyunju concludes that Imsol is hopeless, yet suggests sending a friend request to the new love interest on social media. She also questions how quickly Imsol moved on from Tae-sung's rejection. It is revealed that Imsol had written a love letter to Tae-sung the day before, but he rejected her. Unbeknownst to her, due to the time travel events, Imsol discovers the letter at home, leading to some teasing from Im-gum. Sung-jae is putting in a lot of effort to improve his swimming skills while simultaneously rejecting Imsol's friend request. The next day, they coincidentally meet at the bus stop, leaving Imsol feeling discouraged. However, she still hopes to give back his umbrella and strike up a conversation. During the bus journey, Sung-jae comes to her rescue when she almost falls. When they reach their destination, Imsol faces some difficulties due to the crowd getting on and off the bus, causing her umbrella to slip. Unable to get off, Sung-jae chases after the bus and asks the driver to stop. As expected, he appears as a charming hero, leaving the girls swooning. Sung-jae insists he was just trying to retrieve his umbrella, not help her. Despite this, Im-sol admires his bold response. The topic shifts to the favor, and Sung-jae hints that he declined due to her smoking habit. She challenges him to smell her fingers for proof, but he declines. In the end, she accidentally pokes his nose, and Hyuk sees this and begins teasing Sung-jae. Just like Hyunju, he is amazed by Im-sol's interest in his friend. Sung-jae is informed by him that Sina Tae-sung is liked by Im-sol and she has been secretly giving him chocolates. Sung-jae expresses his ignorance about this and admits that he doesn't even know who Tae-sung is. However, upon hearing this, he appears to be quite upset. Meanwhile, while Im-sol is passing by, she notices a banner for a swimming competition and suddenly recalls something from the future. It turns out that this competition was the one that ended Sung Jae's swimming career, as he mentioned it during a TV interview. Determined, Im-sol decides to make it her mission to prevent him from participating in the swimming competition. Initially, she attempts to clarify to him the events that will unfold in the coming days, but each time she mentions the future, time comes to a standstill. Realizing Sung Jae's stubbornness, She alters her approach. He yearns to regain his position as a swimmer. Unfortunately, one of his teammates, Yeongu, harbors jealousy and ridicules him. We discover that Sung Jae is in the process of recovering from surgery and should be taking things easy. Im Sol, however, persists in her pursuit to convince Sung Jae to reconsider. She advises him to ensure his arm is in proper condition before the competition. Meanwhile, Sung Jae's father and Im Sol's mother are still engaged in a heated debate over the rented movie. Unfortunately, Tai Sung's day isn't going any better as he finds himself in trouble again, this time getting reported to the police for being involved in a fight. Luckily, his father, a lieutenant, comes to his rescue and picks him up. Judging by their interaction, it seems evident that their relationship is far from smooth sailing. In the meantime, Im-sol comes up with a clever scheme to outsmart Sung Jae and discourage him from participating in the competition. Disguised as an elderly woman with supposed mystical abilities, she approaches him on the street asking for a donation in exchange for a prophecy. Im-sol warns Sung Jae to avoid water for the next 3 days, claiming he is being haunted by a water ghost. To make her story more believable, she mentions his injured shoulder and the moles on his body. Although Sung Jae is taken aback, he agrees not to come into contact with water, though he remains skeptical and eager to leave. While heading home, she unexpectedly encounters Tai Sung and assists in tending to his wound while attempting to have a conversation with him. She kindly requests him to think about causing less trouble for the sake of his parents. Regrettably, Tae-sung reveals that his parents wouldn't mind if he quit school. They engage in a conversation during which Tae-sung starts playing with the money Sung Jae had given Im-sol. Unfortunately, it falls into dirty water, leading to Im-sol getting upset. She begins her journey back home, with Tae-sung trailing behind her, expressing his apology sincerely. By chance, they run into Sung Jae, and Im-sol gets caught. Sung Jae accuses her of making fun of him and storms off. Despite this, she insists that Sung Jae is in trouble. Im-sol is shocked to discover that Sung Jae lives next door. Later that evening, Sung Jae struggles to focus on meditating as he can't stop pondering Im-sol's words. He makes the decision to return to school and undergo training. Im-sol notices him leaving his house and decides to follow him. In school, Im-sol discovers Hyun-gu attempting to swipe Sung Jae's trousers just to play a prank on him. Sung Jae is quite superstitious and firmly believes that he must swim in the same pants he practices with the day before. Startled by the commotion, Sung Jae rushes over, causing Hyun-gu and his buddy to flee. Meanwhile, Im-sol ends up concealing herself in the towel rack and unfortunately gets noticed. Sung Jae gets the wrong idea and believes that she is attempting to take his pants without permission. He confronts her, claiming that she is behaving strangely, and she attempts to clarify the situation. However, every time she mentions being from the future, time seems to stand still. In order to avoid this, she decides to say that she had a dream instead. Unfortunately, Sung Jae remains uninterested. He is angry and fails to comprehend why she would go to such lengths to protect him. He storms out in frustration, leaving her behind. When he arrives home, he receives a call from a concerned friend checking on his well-being. The friend is worried because Hyun-gu was seen at the school that night, attempting to take Sung Jae's pants. Meanwhile, his dad finds the X-rated movie Bok-soon has been inquiring about under Sung Jae's bed. As it begins to rain, Sung Jae quickly grabs an umbrella and hurries outside. While walking home, Im-sol finds herself in a dangerous situation as she almost gets hit by a car. Despite calming herself down and attempting to cross the road again, she suddenly panics and freezes in the middle of the street. As an oncoming car approaches, she remembers being saved by someone in the past. To her surprise, the person who comes to her rescue this time is Sung Jae. Just in time, Sung Jae pulls her out of harm's way, causing her to faint in his arms. In the epilogue, it is revealed that Sung Jae has secretly liked Im-sol ever since they first crossed paths. Im-sol initially thought he was the delivery person, but he was always friendly towards her. Little did she know he was actually her new neighbor. She never realized just how many times he quietly supported her. Looking back, he was taken aback when she suddenly began to pay attention to him and revealed her feelings for him. He didn't mean to reject her friend request. He was shocked when his dad unexpectedly entered his room, causing him to mistakenly click on the Denny button. The episode concludes with a scene into the future, revealing that Songjai kept a photo of them as teenagers. It was found in his hotel room on the day he passed away.